So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about my QQQ trade that I did today. It was one with a tight stop loss, so I didn't lose that much today. And also, I'm going to be going over the Fed preview of what might transpire tomorrow because the Federal Reserve is going to talk about rate hikes tomorrow. They're going to actually come out publicly with a decision and kind of make some projections on where they see the market going, and it's going to be a little twisted because what happens tomorrow, he will have to factor in the latest developments such as the bank runs, the bank crises, etc. So let's get into it, right? So the first thing I'm going to look at is my trade on the QQQ today. So I entered this trade around 11:52. So at 11:52, that's this candle. So you could see we had the market kind of pushing down here. I was expecting it to continue, but it didn't. I also have another confluence, which would have been the MACD. So I had a weakening of the MACD, and then we're starting to go red. So I'm thinking, okay, great, we're about to push down. But we didn't push down. But since we didn't push down, I still wanted to keep my stop loss relatively tight because I wasn't too sure of where we were going. So I kept my stop loss a little bit above half of the previous candle. In case we had some form of reversal, I would have been knocked out quickly, letting me know that I'm wrong, and I would move on. After that, I made no more trades for the day. So I'll show you where I entered on this candle and where I got stopped out on the second candle, I presume. So I entered on this candle, right? And I entered 306.95, right? That was the first trade where I entered to the downside, expecting the market to continue down. And then I got hit out on the second candle at 307.20. So I didn't even go for that full $100 usual stop loss. I went for just a little bit above half the previous candle and then just took it from there. So that ended me with a loss of 26.50. Keeping the risk small, especially when you're wrong, can be very beneficial, even better than a winning trade. Why? Because you end up not losing a lot of your money. You cut your loser short and you can just go, right? So basically, you'll see that that's what happened today. On the 15-minute chart, where did I have other entries? I had this entry as well, but for some reason I didn't get that signal. Maybe my alerts have expired. Here we can see they have expired. So I'll have to redo these for the bearish engulfing and bullish engulfing. But you can see that this bullish engulfing signal could have been a trade to the upside. So what we also have on the MACD here, um, you have bullish engulfing and a kind of start of a green trend on the MACD. And why you try to aim for these is because you can get why you try to aim for these small little reversals is because you can get the start of a trend. So you could have entered here to the upside with say $100 stop loss. Say $100 stop loss from around here, 308, could have had a stop loss at 307. And after that, you never came back to that stop loss. You kind of rallied for the rest of the day. If you had held it up until 3:30, you'd have taken it right up to 310, which could have been a nice, let me see what kind of trade that would have been a nice $200 there, right? So that's why I like to see some of these trades. This would have actually faked you out. So this is a bearish engulfing, and you have the three line strike bearish indicator as well. So this could have thrown you off a little bit before it continued rallying. So that's some little quirks towards the trade there. We can see today I entered the trade, I got stopped out relatively quickly. As you can see, over the past 3 days, my one profit kind of covers for these two losses. So I've actually traded twice and I'm still not below what I've lost on the Friday there, right? So let's get into the Fed preview now, right? And this is from fx3.com. So this is a preview on what might transpire tomorrow. So the Federal Reserve is in a difficult position, facing elevated inflation, a tight labor market, and a nascent banking crisis. I'm not even sure what this means. Nascent, just coming into existence. So yes, so a pretty recent banking crisis. Expectations went in a few days from a 50 basis point hike to rising odds for no change. So can you imagine that if we see the Federal Reserve actually come in tomorrow and do, they're claiming that 25 basis points, which is what the Fed has been doing, might still be a bit bullish, indicating that the Fed doesn't see that things are really breaking to the point where they have to either cut interest rates or not even raise interest rates this time. So that's very important. So tomorrow, if we see zero interest rate hike, that means that the market can't stand any more interest rate hikes, and there might be more systematic or there might be systematic weak points that the Fed doesn't want to irritate. So if the Fed doesn't want to irritate some systematic weak points by going a bit slower, that Hmm, it's up to interpretation, so the market can take it very bullish and say, hey, the next step would be for the Fed to actually cut rates. So if the Fed cuts rates, that's going to lead to stocks probably going up. However, we still haven't resolved the inflation problem. So we aren't necessarily in muddy waters, but the Fed is in muddy waters because they have to make a decision, right? So a decision is definitely coming tomorrow. I would love if somebody could leave your comments and let me know what do you think the Fed is going to raise to tomorrow. I'm thinking, I could be a bit off, but this is looking like the possibility of hmm, 25 or no change. 25 or no change. The last time Fed did 25, after all of this, I'm thinking they're going to do 25 again. I think they're going to do 25 again and try to just smooth it out. And I'm also hearing about this SEP, so the Summary of Economic Projections. So they're basically going to project where they see the economy doing going forward as it relates to GDP, employment. So we have to actually see what the Fed has come together and like made a decision. Even though they're not always right, we still have to play to their rules and their standards, right? So that's definitely what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know why they keep setting these up for Wednesdays. You know, I don't like to trade Wednesdays, but tomorrow is extremely important, and I'm going to be looking out for trades tomorrow. I will have to set my stop loss as soon as I enter the trades because if those candles are crazy, I'm gonna lose it, right? But I'll see you in tomorrow's video. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed this little preview to the FOMC meeting because it's it could be one of the most important ones because if the Fed, and I think this is completely out of the question, if the Fed does 50 basis points, right? Something might break again. Another bank might break. Mortgages might break. Something else might break. If the Fed does 0.25, that's kind of indicating to the market the Fed has confidence that nothing else is going to break, right? However, something else might break just as a result of that. They might feel confident that nothing might break and something might break. If the Fed does zero, that indicates the Fed has kind of pivoted from fighting inflation and going more along the sides of let me not make anything break. So let's see how tomorrow plays out. And you can see Bitcoin steadily waiting for something to happen tomorrow, right? You can see this chart. Bitcoin is literally at 28,000. 28,000, waiting to hear what's the move for tomorrow. If the Fed decides 0% basis points, Bitcoin is looking at 30. I'm telling you right now. If the Fed does 25, might spook it a little bit. You might see a little trend into the 27, 600 thereabout. But let's see how tomorrow plays out. But if the Fed did something like cut rates or 0% basis point, Bitcoin is gonna show it tomorrow, right? Bitcoin is gonna show its ass, right? I'll see you in tomorrow's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Drop the interest rate expectation tomorrow that you think the Fed is gonna do. All right, and I'll see you.